All right, yeah, let's get into it. So I did kind of see a little bit of it at work. I just wanted to kind of watch kind of everything in its entirety, so I had enough to respond to. So it's kind of a lot to get into. Um, I kind of did say because I did another stream right after. I did kind of say that because I reheard myself and I actually cringed at myself. Um, that I kind of did feel that I breached what I would say is my own quorum. Where I got too aggressive, kind of too emotional. But here's I'm just gonna be straight up as to why. My very close family are all police officers. I said that once. I don't say that often, but um, I only say that because it was coming from a genuine place. Now, from my understanding of what happened was, uh, you know, Jeff introduced, the that he was a police officer, and then he said he was a certified police officer. The guy said he was a certified police officer. Like I mean, the first thing he was asked is he was presented as a police officer and he was showing his face, and then he was asked his name and badge number. He said, "Oh no, I'm not doing that." And he said he worked for a police department, and then he said something like he didn't, and then he works for a mental health facility. So my impression of it was, and I'll kind of just admit, I mean, I wouldn't absolve Jeff too much. I think but I kind of felt that what happened in that scenario was that this guy, whoever that guy was, because it wasn't sounding like it added up at all. Kind of just fed Jeff kind of a story that he was a uh, a police officer, and I didn't kind of necessarily know whether or not Jeff actually was a part of the deception, because as far as I knew, I kind of believe that Jeff may have genuinely thought that, even though, but kind of out of naivete, or if that's the word, I don't know. um but it's kind of like he claims he's a police officer, and the story seemed very weak. And I think I went on his panel, Jeff's panel, and he kind of just didn't have he kind of wasn't having that conversation, so it kind of built up a little bit. And that's kind of the context a little bit to why I responded that way. So it's kind of like already a little bit upset about the issue, but then it's kind of like Tommy Boy will make these really splitting hairs argument. Like, I feel like he will literally Google a couple definitions and then say that because you don't have those definitions memorized, like it's a test, that somehow that just negates your more than reasonable takeaway from the situation. Like, one thing he said was, you know, I think in the Ed situation that, like, I just said that the case was open, and then just because it was an incident report, that and me not I guess defining the difference between that and or exactly what that is, that somehow means that it was not open, you know? And obviously, it was a very recent correspondence of the Attorney General with that. Now we're talking about the Ed situation, that, you know, it's very clear that that's the situation, that the case is open. And we have more than a right to be, concerned about it, upset about it, and I mean, and my kind of thing is with that situation is, we have a very good reason to be skeptical that this belt loop guy, claiming to be a police officer, it didn't sound at all like his story added up at all. I mean, he said because at first he said he was. I felt like he was contradicting himself, saying that he works for a police department, but then he doesn't, and then he works for a mental institution. And I guess I will kind of admit I don't like to argue that way. I kind of want people to challenge me in like a kind of kind of an open space. But I don't know. I guess I'm not above emotion. I'm not above I guess being passionate about something. I'm not above it. I can I guess like lose my temper. I think, or just like anyone can. But in this situation though, it was kind of like this really splitting hairs argument was being made. Um, you know that kind of made it seem like you're absolutely ridiculous and out of line for interpreting that information very reasonably. That he literally, the guy said he's a certified police officer. It came out of his mouth, and whether or not he's asked, he basically presented. He definitely must have presented himself to Jeff as a as a police officer, and he apparently lives in Mississippi, and Jeff lives in New Mexico. So I'm kind of thinking like he must not know the guy. Like he says like, oh, he knows him and his family, whatever, in real life. Like, but I'm like, all right. I mean, I don't know the situation. I can't say that's not true, but it's like he's probably an internet friend. That's kind of my instinct, you know. But yeah, that's kind of the situation. And then he kind of flipped it to where he was changing like the goalpost to, uh, you know, um, that a police off it's not like a police officer can lie to you, that they're not a police officer. So a police officer can say, that like a police officer being undercover can say they're not a police officer. But that's literally that's a totally different issue. So I just felt that like Tommy Boy was kind of denying a very reasonable takeaway just because I wasn't you know I guess I didn't memorize some very specific definitions. And I think how he originally was talking about the Ed situation was he asked me the difference between, I think, two legal terms and how it applied in Texas. And then I think in that stream, he was asking about the difference between, I think, a sheriff and a police officer and a state trooper. And I would kind of ask what state, because in Florida, it's a big deal if you're a sheriff. In here, Massachusetts, it means you're basically running a jail. It's like that's why I was always confused by the definition of a sheriff. So I'm not going to claim that I have any special knowledge. I am just a citizen. I'm a nonviolent citizen against predators. I'm not. I'm not. I you know. I never claimed any any kind of formal education or certification. Um, and yeah, but it's like it was like he made this very splitting hairs argument about that, but that definition even varies depending on what state you're in. Um, but yeah, it's like it made it very clear that he may have some kind of like because what he said was he worked in mental health like care, like patient care is what he said. Belt loop. And that kind of tells me that that's more of like a security position. So the story did not seem to add up to me, and that's kind of what I would say. And also kind of like he clipped part of it where it said, I don't care if he has a family, fuck him, or whatever. I'm not saying like for anyone to go after his family or anything, but it's kind of like what I would also say is like just because someone does like happens to have a family that I didn't need to know about, that doesn't make it so that I'm gonna treat that person differently or be like, oh, that person you know, wasn't as wrong as they thought they were wrong. You know, that doesn't absolve them from anything. I'm gonna treat them as if they like, 'cause it's not relevant whether they do or don't. Like, why is it relevant whether he has a family or not? It's not relevant. But I'm not. It was kind of. I felt like that was almost being spinned as like that somehow I would target his family or something. You know, but but yeah, but I would say that that a lot of things that Belloop said did seem off, and he did refuse to give his badge number. Um, but I mean, I don't know exactly what he is. I don't exactly know exactly. I don't know. I can't say I do know the situation. I mean, because he didn't say the situation. And he didn't say that he was a police officer, but it's like he made a positive claim that he's a quote unquote certified police officer. And it's not up to me to make it's not the burden of proof isn't up to me to make a negative claim that he actually isn't a police officer. He has not made a positive claim. He's not substantiated his positive claim that he is a certified police officer, where it would give more weight to what he was saying, and that's how he was introduced. But it's not like he did say he was a certified police officer, and I'm just not going to pretend that didn't happen. Um, you know, but also, I'm gonna be, calm about it, but I'm not gonna apologize for being reasonable. If I see something fishy and that's my response, I think that, if something doesn't add up and they're, not substantiating that he's not substantiating that he's a police officer, I definitely will, apply pressure to that situation. That's just that's kind of how I feel about that. But he said, but like he almost made it sound like that did not happen, and it was like Tommy Boy said like, and let's see if that happened or whatever, that he claimed to be a police officer, and then it's like Tommy Boy plays the clip where he clearly claims he's a police officer, a quote unquote certified police officer. So it's like it's like his own video proved what I was saying, that he said he was a certified police officer. So at the very least, he did say he was a certified police officer. Um, and yeah, I mean, I do take that seriously because there are police officers that do put their lives on the line. And I have a lot of respect for that. And it did come from an emotional place, but I will try to kind of remain calm and discourse. And it kind of was like just kind of like shouting someone down for questioning. That kind of, I will say, that did go against for what I'm for. That was beneath my quorum, I would say. But yeah. I mean, I'm on a phone. I can't really play the clip. But yeah, I agree with you 100 at MVCat. My grandpa was a police officer, so I paid attention to BL was talking. BL has not proven he's a cop, and he's used that claim in an attempt to lure PHI into a private chat. And it was just like, I mean, if you really do watch the clip, and I would encourage anyone to watch that clip, Tommy Boy did do a stream, and it's in there. Just watch it and see if it makes any sense. It sounds like a story that's all over the place, and it was introduced by Jeff. And I mean, I kind of was giving maybe a little bit of benefit of the doubt because I don't think he would have a reason for him to deceive that he was a police officer. I mean, the guy at Belt Loop was claiming he was a police officer. So I kind of think most likely what happened is I wasn't trying to absolve that Jeff, but here's what I think happened was I think that guy very easily, with of course not much receipts required, convinced Jeff that he was a police officer. Like I kind of feel like that belt loop. I kind of picturing right now belt loop showing like a cereal box badge number, and Jeff being like, "Oh, yep, he's a certified police officer." That's kind of that's where that was coming from. But is that necessarily Jeff's deception? I don't know if I can go that far because I think he may have been deceived as well. But that's kind of where it was coming from. So it wasn't necessarily to absolve Jeff, but I think that he was deceived as well. Um, but yeah, I don't know. So I will kind of put up the link. Um, but yeah, I do kind of take that stuff seriously. Like I think people that are impersonating police officers, I don't have and trying to like stretch the truth. Maybe they're a corrections officer or whatever. I have a problem with that. I really do. But it's like what's kind of inarguable is that if you do watch what Bell Loop said when he was talking, I mean, maybe we can say that police officers work at hospitals and things like that. But what he was describing, how he was describing it, it was all over the place. If I'm at, like make the argument that what he was saying was consistent, on point, and sounded legit, just from a bystander. But I kind of feel that Tommy Boy has this tactic of like splitting hairs, where it's kind of like if you didn't memorize certain definitions in a test, like a test, which one of them, by the way, was, I think the difference between two kinds of reports and how it kind of works in Texas when talking about the Ed situation. And I never claimed to have no JD last time I checked. You know, I never said anywhere that I knew everything. But it's kind of like when I kind of was like admitting like, okay, I don't know that, I don't know it. Like he denied the entire thing, and even saying that because of that I don't have credibility in reasonably interpreting the government documents and saying that the case is open. That's bullshit. That's the biggest splitting hairs argument that I can think of. And that's kind of what I think is Time Boy's strategy. It's like because you haven't memorized some terms that he may have looked up or maybe just knows, that somehow that means that the reaction or response was somehow unreasonable. And I don't believe that at all. Now I would say though, if the argument is gonna be could be made that, that I think that the way maybe I was talking to Tommy Boy or whatever, or I should have been more calm. I kind of do like the idea of having people come up and challenging me and everything, and challenging each other, and paneling it out, I guess is a word, or you know and I kind of don't like the idea of being part of shouting down someone that has dissenting opinion. So I did not live up to that. That's kind of where I think I fell short, you know? And I'll kind of say that. And I did say that in the next stream, which was before Tommy Boy's stream. But that kind of is the issue I would say I have with Tommy Boy's like recent arguments, is that he kind of just makes these really splitting hairs arguments that he makes, and just thinks that that means that it's kind of like a form of gaslighting. It just means that somehow that means that your concerns are not legitimate, even though they obviously are. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of what I would say. I think I did share the link. Yeah, I shared the link. I think Sam was about on JT. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't want to kind of like get into that stuff anymore because I kind of think like all that'll do. I kind of agree with LB that like when we start saying things like that again assume like the other side have no morals or principles. It's almost like they don't, right? They're just gonna go with like the most shitty argument made on the panel, which is gonna be something like that, and then they're gonna go after that and then ignore. That's gonna take away the legitimacy of real issues with what they're saying, you know. But yeah, I mean, I'll just kind of admit, like, I mean, at the same time, I do have a belief that we should kind of encourage dissenting opinion rather than, like, shout it down. I didn't ban him or anything, but I don't believe I lived up to that. I will say that. Um, you know, um, but yeah. But at the same time, it's kind of like I can lose. I'm not above anything. I'm not above losing my temper or getting emotional or anything like that. And I did have personal reasons for feeling that way, but I kind of really don't want to bring, you know, I guess like I kind of really don't want to bring my like family into it, but like if I were to kind of just be transparent of like why I did get so worked up, there was a reason, and that was the reason. And that's what uh, you know, that's what happened. But yeah. But again, like I feel like the argument kind of will then be like that doesn't obviously absolve me from what I said or whatever. But that was more of a reason, you know. And it just it kind of explains the I'm not necessarily saying that's the reason for all of the substance of what I said, but like how I said it, that's kind of why. But yeah. And yeah, like he didn't say like his credentials or whatever. But also then he tried to make the argument about like this is why cops don't wanna, help us or whatever. And one, I will kind of ask, is that really true? Like law enforcement and district attorneys and all that aren't really true. I do feel that we're moving in a very powerful, positive direction with law enforcement and DAs. Now we have obstacles, but I don't feel that the direction is going in the opposite direction. But the issue, it's like, is like a massive conflation of two things, where it's like questioning someone who's claiming to be an officer and police officers being afraid they're being doxxed are not the same thing. Like someone could arguably be in Chad and be an officer, but they don't have to say they're an officer. And they can maybe provide some kind of tip. Like maybe like an officer can say, to do a catch. It would be worthy to kind of have a predator cross state lines because then it would be a bigger charge. Something like that. All kinds of things. Like, but that doesn't require you to claim you're an officer. And it's like we like it's kind of like I would think the officers, if anything, the officers should have want like wouldn't it look worse if to the officers in the system and if we just kind of like isn't the biggest arguments against aren't like the biggest arguments against us is that we don't necessarily vet people and that we'll just kind of believe like oh that yeah that guy's an officer or whatever and that we're not questioning it. Isn't it a better thing that like I would think that if they like let's say the scenario like there is an officer right watching, they would want us to question someone who's claiming to be an officer. That's healthy skepticism. You know, that needs to exist. I would think that that would be a good thing. And that's kind of what I had and um that's kind of what I would say. Yeah, it kind of felt like what he was talking about was like some kind of security or some kind of like maybe his like position is like it sounded like what it probably would end up being is like some kind of security position, or if that. But it's like his story was all over the place because he basically said he worked for a police department, and then he said he worked for a mental health facility. And I was kind of like, which is it? Is he saying that he worked for a police department in a mental health facility? So it was like a bunch of things that I thought were contradictions. But I don't think that that would make an officer worried about working working with catchers at all. And nor do I think that that really happens. It's kind of like you're gonna have DAs that don't believe in enforcing the law, and it's like DAs. I think that when there's smart DAs that understand that if we just if we just do it anyway and we just expose the predators, that'll just and then they commit to not enforcing the law, that'll just create a vacuum despite not agreeing with what the predator catchers are doing. That will actually create real vigilantism, so it won't in any way stop quote unquote vigilantism, so some smarter DAs are coming around, to that. And I've kind of seen, good law enforcement before. I've run into some bad law enforcement, but I don't feel that's I don't agree that that's the direction we're actually going. But it's like really the biggest splitting hairs arguments that I kind of almost can't help but feel they are disingenuous. So that kind of may have been what set me off a little bit, and I was kind of already going off. But that's the situation. That's what it is. I kind of thought about you know, um, I didn't make a script. I didn't, say like, oh, what can I say that'll make it, uh, you know, look better or whatever to save face. I just kind of thought about exactly what happened, why I said what I said. I went kind of, back to, and then I just kind of said, and then I thought about it, and that's why I responded that way. Oh, what the fuck? Where have I been? Yeah, so Tommy Boy did a panel, and it's like he kind of made this argument that like that I'm kind of like me and PHI are kind of people that aren't people to argue with or whatever. Or I'm not a person that I can argue with. But it's like he'll bring up the very few times where I have lost my temper. But I mean, I think it's very agreed that in general, I kind of argue in a calm way, but it's like saying that's kind of not true is also disingenuous. But yeah, that's not the real Chrissy. The pic looks like she has pink eye on both eyes, not like she's been crying. Someone, yeah. I didn't even look like crying, really. I don't know. But yeah, it kind of was like like a situation where I felt like that guy, the guy at Belt Loop, was being kind of enabled by Jeff, and he kind of was like, I kind of just didn't want him to get away with it, where like he was just gonna be like, all comfy and just saying he's a certified officer without backing it up, when the first thing he was asked was, all right, what's your name and badge number? Yet he's showing his face, and it's like. I wanted to kind of apply as much pressure as I could to, kind of prove that he's Like, and also he said that he did show one point that he his name and badge number, and you know we need more legit crime fighters. Pills are the worst. You can't get a word in unless you overtalk everyone like a curt robot. Yeah. It's a lot of comments. Yeah, but I don't know. That's kind of like all I can really think of as a response to it. But it kind of is just like these arguments from Tommy Boy are just very like splitting hairs arguments, and they deny when you have a very reasonable takeaway to a situation with like not knowing technical information, like not knowing like certain pieces of information as somehow negating your credibility, which it obviously doesn't. X, it's why. Oh. Well, I mean, I kind of will say though, like Christie asked for that to be put out, so I wouldn't have put that out if it wasn't if I wasn't under the directive, I guess, of Christie to put that out. She said put it out. Um, let Vic up for a bit. He needs to get some dragging off. I mean, is no one's backstage or anything? I'll let anyone up. I'll let anyone up. I'm just gonna kind of say like that when we start talking about that certain topic though, it kind of, I feel like it does kind of, it's kind of counterproductive. And then Sam can say, well, look what the panel people are saying. They're saying that we're all gay in Florida and this and that. I don't know, I'm trying to do a sound like Sam. But skimming for LARP and J silly comments, late picking study. Yeah, and there was just like a lot of disingenuous things that felt said by Tommy Boy, where it was kind of like, it was kind of, because here's the thing, when it was mentioned about the family thing, it was said as like a defense where, oh, he has a family, but I kind of just said, I basically said like I don't give a fuck about that, but it kind of made it sound like I was also taking my rage, I guess, out on the family too. Like, like fuck them in the family or whatever, but that's not what I said. um I just said that kind of doesn't absolve you of anything. It's not relevant to bring up. Well, I wouldn't say like losing it. I mean, I think anyone is susceptible to uh like losing their temper, getting worked up about things. And I'm not above that. And that's kind of what happened. But yeah. But I do kind of believe in facilitating kind of more of a discourse where it's like, you know, it kind of will welcome more dissenting opinion than anything. Um, which I kind of think that I fell short of. Whenever I'm losing an argument, okay. I didn't know I lose every argument. There will be a next time. Uh, did StreamYard freeze again? Hold on. Yeah, it did. It keeps doing this thing where it freezes. I don't know why. No. I will not be joining that panel. Was really an argument though? I mean, come on. Ryan was pointing things out. So I think I have to flip between. I don't think she's actually in chat. Um, it's just one of the troll accounts. Jeff giving away a diaper worn by Ozzy Osbourne? The hell? But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my response. Is I think it's very clear that Tommy Boy has been making a kind of splitting hairs arguments, and you know, denying kind of denying kind of reasonability, like a reasonable interpretation to a reasonable response to something, and then saying, oh, because you don't know certain technical information, that somehow that's not it's not valid. So I don't agree with that. Yeah, you got the link up. Oh shit! Almost ended the broadcast. What's up, FM? But yeah, like, and I think he was speeding up the my stream so that I wouldn't copyright it. Give it a copyright strike. I wouldn't have given Tommy Boy a copyright strike for playing my stream. It made you sound like Ben Shapiro at 1.5 speed. Yeah, it did. It was like I had to kind of slow it down. It's like me fast speed literally sounds like when you fast forward like a cassette tape. It's like I don't know. It's like a Todd alphabet book would be all bad. Yeah, and it's actually I want to get the info together to like put out the information about that teacher you caught. That was a really good catch. I just kind of want to make sure I have everything. Probably make a community post on it. FM caught like a teacher who I think he was like a dance teacher, and he literally was into like the teacher, like his students would be like his victim. Like like the kind of decoy. Like I think like his decoy was like a young girl, and he basically teaches young girls how to dance or something like that. Not if I'm remembering correctly. Oh, he was a second grade teacher. Thinking it was something else. I think I don't know. Um, but yeah, it's like, how old was a decoy? If I may ask. Well, I mean, was a decoy that young, or that would be like 7 or 8? Oh, 14 still. Wow. Yeah, I saw this documentary on how hard it is to fire a teacher when I was like really young. I forget how it went, but it said there was like many, many steps to it. That's kind of like a Larry Nasser kind of pred, where he would carefully groom his predators. Um. Oh wait, no. I wait. I had to wait. Did I just say groom his predators? Wait. I think I. Yeah. I haven't had much sleep. Um. Groom is. Groom is. Yeah. Oh. What's the comment? No, I know, but like, what was your comment though? Because I mean, I didn't see the comment. Yeah, I think that guy had the weirdest excuse in history. That Yeah, I want to follow up with what happened with the police there. See, I don't know, all the New York catches kind of dragged a little bit in court. I want to kind of see what the status is on that. And I'm probably gonna re-upload that to Rumble. That was one of the catches I think I had to take down because of YouTube or whatever, and I was gonna re-upload it on Rumble. Yeah, we should. Yeah, he said the Predator said something like he did all of it for clickbait. So then he said, "Ah, for real, this is good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be clickbait for real." And yeah, I don't know. I didn't. I didn't understand the argument. Okay, I don't get the joke, by the way. Um, I heard it. I'm not gonna show it, but I heard it, and I don't know. I'm kind of struggling with that one. I don't know. I did see this thing where all right, I'm trying to figure it out. If it was like a shit, I forget how it goes. Never mind. Wait, but why would ears have anything to do with it? I don't. All right, I don't. It's like one of those jokes where you don't want to know, but you still don't know. It's like when you get closer to the answer, it gets weirder. Yeah, that was my question. The hell. For those, I did report the pred to the 52. You know he's done. That's good. Yeah, okay, so that's a reasonable question. I don't get how yours have anything to do with that. Little pred? Yeah. I didn't see if he had a catch tonight. I didn't see that. I'll check it out though. Wait, I think we're talking about two different catches then. So, did you catch another teacher? Because I thought you originally caught like some. I remember the catch I messaged you about, and then maybe did you catch another teacher? I was talking about the one in the train station. That catch was dedicated to all my biggest fans. I appreciate keep hating a little bit. Yeah. Well, so I don't know if he caught like another teacher. But yeah, but that could be his next new project. Make a flyer for. Oh, you got a chef. So we were talking about the same catch. Okay, chef. Ew. So he's like that makes it extra gross. So he's basically like making food for the public, and he's a. All right, I have to think about that. Yeah, I think I want to figure out how to make a yeah beanie, like the one I have as the avatar. I just kind of, I'll be kind of my first customer, and probably only customer. Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. I kind of had jobs where I worked in like food service or whatever, and I would always be very like I kind of have like I'm like a compulsive hand washer. Like I wash my hands like, and then I keep washing my hands, and I have to stop like at probably like around 5 times. But I don't know. There are people that just I'm disgusted by people that don't wash their hands. Like what the fuck? Like if there was a place on fire, I would figure out a way to wash my hands. OCD like that too. Sorry to eat over me. It's like it's like they'll just walk past. It's like I'll be like compulsively washing my hands, right? And like keep washing my hands, and then like someone will just walk by and be like, "Ah, peace, bro," and they'll just go out the door. I'll be like, are you kidding me?" Yeah, yeah. I used to have a thing where when I was a kid, I literally I saw a germ documentary, so I washed my hands to the point I guess I guess they get red, like where they get too dried up, where it's a bad thing, and that was a problem. I remember I cut down from that, but you know, yeah. I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's like you can feel the germs. It's like you can feel the germs. When I was a kid, I wouldn't drink out of a cup without a paper towel on the edge. I trusted it was truly clean. I never trusted it was truly clean. Yeah, I have a lot of things like that. Oh, what's up, Koopa? I'm trying to find your original comment. Was it a while back, or I'm not finding his comment? Oh yeah, Woman Against the Registry, where it's kind of like I think I saw a video where. But here was the fucked up thing. They tried to make this argument to say, "Oh, this woman was put on a sex offender registry," but the story was that he basically like her story, and I'll stress the word story, was that she ended up hooking up with the guy at a party that turned out to be underage. But interesting because from what I know how the law works is you need to have provable intent to be prosecuted. So they would have to prove you knew. So I don't believe that. So at best it's a situation where um I mean a woman did what we catch predators do. It's a strict liability offense. Oh, I don't know what that means. Yeah, you gotta get a Gordon Flowers sweatshirt because, in all seriousness, it's really comfortable. In all seriousness, but yeah, Yeah, I don't think people even have to wear masks in hospitals anymore. Now it's like I just got an MRI and they didn't make me wear a mask. They didn't really have masks. People want to visit my house, and if they don't take off their shoes, literally lose it. Yeah, remember one time? I remember one time I was at work and that someone had these slippers on that it made the entire floor wet, so we had to put a bunch of wet floor signs on the ground just because of that one person. I have wet floor signs that trace their steps. So that person really want to leave their mark. No, I think it's more like I have no idea. I didn't even. I actually have no idea. I think it was there was a storm, but it wasn't raining yet. Yeah, but I would say like let's say they're born that way, then still what should happen is they should do something where they don't get close to their like I think that if you're like that, you should basically disclose it to the government so they can remove you as a risk to society to remove you as a risk to society where they would be able to stop you from committing the crime in the first place. You'd have to surrender your Fourth Amendment rights, but you wouldn't be in prison. That's kind of what I would say if like from the start, if you were to just disclose that, then worst case scenario, they would be able to prevent you from committing the crime. They would be easily doable. And then if you don't do that, then it's on you. Advocating for physical removal. Wait, for anyone trying to figure out what the heart means, apparently you can select a certain amount of emojis and they'll appear on the screen. That's what it means. So the heart, the laugh, the party thing, whatever. 100. Yeah, see now you guys are doing it. See, I see. All right, we got 100. We got Bear's face. We got surprise face. Got hearts. That's what it means. Somehow, those things are annoying. It blocks the chat. No, actually, I think what it is it appears on the screen, doesn't it? It appears on the screen. Do we have that? I think there's no yeah, it's kind of like with the death penalty is like the cost. My thing is, I think life in prison is worse than death, and it's like I never kind of can justify killing a guilty person at the cost of an innocent person, even if that number is theoretically one. The families of the criminals would wage warfare on those doing the lynching. Yeah, but it's on the screen. It's not on the comment section. But yeah, I didn't really have much to say. I kind of think I'll end it here. I don't know. Yeah, I'm looking on the YouTube app. Well, actually, yeah, because I'm actually logged in on InviCap, so I should be a viewer. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it off here.